Here's the quickest and easiest way to replace the water pump on a 5.9 Cummins. This is a 2006 Dodge Ram 2500. At the front of the engine is the serpentine belt, which drives the water pump. It's number 9 on this diagram, on the upper left of the engine. To pull the pump, you first have to loosen the belt. That's done by putting a bare 1/2-inch ratchet onto the belt tensioner, best accessed from below the truck. Pull down, loosening the tension on the belt, and then slip it off the alternator. Easiest if you have one guy below and one above. Then drain the coolant, so you don't make a huge mess pulling the water pump. There's a drain petcock on the bottom driver's side of the radiator. Loosen it by hand, and the coolant comes out in orderly fashion. Pop the radiator cap to make it flow easier. While that drains, remove the air filter box. One 10mm bolt, plus a flathead to loosen the intake clamp, and then pull the sensor. This gives you access to the water pump from the passenger side. There's plenty of room. Reach in there with a ratchet and a 10mm socket, and loosen the 2 bolts holding the water pump on. Clean the gasket surface by scraping it with a razor blade and spraying some brake clean and wiping it with a rag. Install the new gasket on the new pump and install it. Weep hold down. Tighten the bolts evenly to about 18 foot-pounds. Then install everything in reverse. The belt, making sure it's routed properly and seated on every pulley correctly. Then airbox, not forgetting the sensor. Then close the drain petcock and fill it with new GO5 coolant, mixed 50-50 with distilled water. Run the engine up to temp with the heater on full blast so that the thermostat opens and coolant fills every part of the system with no air bubbles. When the upper radiator hose is turgid with coolant and hot to the touch, and no more air bubbles escape the top of the radiator, you're good to go. Sorry I don't have footage of every part of the process that I described. It's impossible to get a good, clear shot in a dark and cramped engine bay. Plus, I don't think anything's gained from watching me put a socket onto a bolt.
Okay, so while this is running, idling so it gets up to temperature so I can burp the coolant system, I'm just going to explain to you what's going on. Hope you can hear me all right. But actually, let me set the camera down here. There we go, so I can talk a little bit easier. What we're doing is changing the water pump